Welcome to New Era School Notes for Studies.
All right, welcome back. Today, we've got a really fascinating one for you. We're going to dive into this incredible link between a play that's over 400 years old about a Scottish king and the political story of a modern nation right in the heart of Africa.
So, what on earth does a 400-year-old Scottish play have to do with the modern African nation of Malawi? I know, it sounds like a weird setup, doesn't it? I mean, you've got Shakespeare's Macbeth over here, all dark, gloomy, full of murder and ambition in some ancient Scottish castle. And then you've got Malawi, this vibrant place, literally known as the warm heart of Africa. But trust me, the connection between these two is way, way deeper than you might think. Because when you dig into it, what you find is this universal story. A story about power, ambition, and just the human condition. It's a lens that helps us see these timeless patterns, how power messes with people, how ambition can take a hero and turn them into, well, something else entirely.
Okay, so let's start with the basics. How did this Scottish play even get to Malawi? The main connection, the most direct one, came through the British colonial education system. Back when Malawi was known as the British Protectorate of Nyasaland, Shakespeare's plays, especially Macbeth, were put right into the school curriculum. They were required reading. So for generations, Malawian students are studying Macbeth, right? They're digging into its themes of ambition, corruption, seizing power when you shouldn't have it. And here's the crazy irony. The colonial system, which was, let's be honest, an illegitimate power itself, was basically handing these students the perfect vocabulary to critique that very system. Macbeth gave an entire generation this shared framework, a way to talk about what happens when a leader just goes too far.
All right, quick recap of Macbeth for anyone who's a little rusty. So you've got this heroic general, Macbeth. He gets a prophecy from some witches that he's going to be king. His wife pushes him, he gets ambitious, and boom! He murders the actual king and takes the throne. But then the power goes to his head, he gets super paranoid, starts killing off anyone he sees as a threat, he becomes a total tyrant. In the end, of course, he's overthrown, killed, and the kingdom is restored. Just remember that basic arc. Hero to murderer to paranoid tyrant to downfall. It is absolutely crucial for what's coming next.
Okay, now let's take that exact same story arc and watch it play out in the real world. This is where we introduce Dr. Hastings Kamuza Banda, the founding father of Malawi. And I'm telling you, the parallels between his life story and Macbeth's story are just uncanny. This is where things get really, really interesting.
I mean, just look at this timeline. Banda's journey is just, wow. He comes back home in 1958 as a total hero, a liberation icon. He's the guy who's going to lead his country to independence. Fast forward to 1964, he's the first prime minister. But then, by 1971, he has grabbed so much power that he's declared president for life. Just like that, democracy is over. He then rules as an autocrat for 30 years until he's finally pushed out in the country's first real democratic election in 1994. From hero to tyrant, does that story sound a little familiar?
Yeah, when you lay it out side by side like this, it is genuinely chilling. Both guys start out as celebrated heroes. Macbeth, the defender of the kingdom, Banda, the leader of independence. But then they both make this illegitimate claim to power. Macbeth literally murders King Duncan to get the throne. Banda does it politically. He just declares himself president for life and ends democracy. And that one move kicks off the exact same tragic chain of events for both of them. First comes the paranoia. Then they start ruthlessly getting rid of rivals. Macbeth kills Banquo, Banda suppresses any dissidents, and it all ends in isolation. Macbeth is seeing ghosts, totally alone. Banda is surrounded by people who only tell him what he wants to hear, trapped by his own power. In the end, they're both just consumed by the thing they couldn't bear to lose.
So you see, this isn't just a story about Macbeth, or just a story about Banda. It's about something bigger. It's the anatomy of tyranny. It's this universal script for how a dictatorship actually begins and grows. And what's so wild is that Shakespeare pinpointed these exact themes more than 400 years ago.
I mean, Lady Macbeth basically gives you the tyrant's handbook in one single line. She says, "Look like the innocent flower, but be the serpent under it." And that's it, right there. That's the whole game. You have to project this image of being good and pure, while underneath, you're being absolutely ruthless to hold on to your power.
And both Macbeth and Banda were absolute masters of this deception. Macbeth pretended to be this loyal, heartbroken subject all while he was planning the king's murder. And Banda, he built up this whole image of being the father of the nation, the wise patriarch who is the only one who could guide Malawi. And at the exact same time, he was building this massive surveillance state to crush anyone who dared to criticize him. Another key part of the playbook, you have to make it seem like it's your destiny. For Macbeth, that came from the supernatural, the witch's prophecy. It gave him this justification, right? It made him feel like his ambition wasn't just greed, it was fated. Banda did the exact same thing, but politically. He created his own myth. He adopted the title Ngwazi, which means conqueror, to create this whole cult of personality. The message was clear. His leadership wasn't just a choice, it was preordained. So, why are we even talking about this? Why does it matter today? Well, because this connection between the play and the country's history isn't just some dusty academic fact. No way. It actually still has a very real impact on how people in Malawi think about and talk about power, even now.
And this is exactly why Macbeth is still taught in Malawi. It's so much more than a literature class. It helps students develop critical thinking about power. It gives them a shared language, a kind of safe space, to talk about really difficult things like corruption. It connects their own local history to this huge global story. And most importantly, it's a powerful, powerful warning about what happens when ambition goes unchecked. It's a tool, really.
And that really is the key takeaway here. Think about it. For more than 400 years, this one play has been offering these deep lessons on power and guilt and ambition. And its themes have hit home in completely different times and places, from Shakespeare's England all the way to modern post-colonial Africa. That's what happens when you tell a story that is truly universal.
So that leaves us with one last question to think about. This whole story of Macbeth and Malawi, it's this incredible reminder that art and literature can act like a mirror, right? They show us some pretty deep truths about who we are and how our societies work. So it kind of makes you wonder, if a 400-year-old play could reflect a nation's history so perfectly, what stories are reflecting our world right now? And what are they trying to tell us?
Thank you for watching. Don't forget to subscribe and follow. We are also on Facebook and TikTok. Just scan the QR. This is Victoria signing out. Peace.